What's good, YouTube? It's jazzlovesmma, and here are my UFC Fight Night Vallejos versus Josh Emmett predictions. I'm gonna be starting from the early prelims, moving my way up. Starting the card off with Piero Rodriguez versus Sam Hughes. I think this is a rematch. It might be. I didn't do much research for this card apparently. I don't even think this is actually a rematch. But Sam Hughes, I think she's gonna win. Pierre Rodriguez, she kind of uses her grappling to win her fights. And I just think Sam Hughes is the better grappler. Let me see if this is a rematch. The fuck? I should have checked on this before I started recording. Fuck. I swear this was a rematch. I remember seeing someone talk about it. Maybe I'm just confusing this fight with Jocelyn Edwards, Nora Cornell. Sam Hughes. No, this is a rematch. Okay. This is a rematch. Yeah, Pierre Rodriguez won the first fight. I can only assume with her grappling. But Sam Hughes has improved over the years. She keeps being these fairly big underdogs. She keeps winning. I think she subbed Shauna Bannon in her last fight. That's pretty impressive, you know. Some people don't really finish Shauna Bannon. Pooja Tumar, the great Indian warrior. Pooja Tumar couldn't even do that. So yeah, Pierre had a close fight with Kellen Souza, who Souza's pretty good, but she had to use her grappling. I think Sam Hughes is really good grappling. I don't think she's gonna lose this. She has decent striking on the feet. And yeah, I think this would probably just be a 29-28, maybe a split decision. Sam Hughes decision. Maybe she gets a sub, but I doubt it. Pierre Rodriguez is a grappler. Moving on to a really good fight. Elijah Smith versus Seung Young Yu. Um, Elijah Smith is a really good grappler. He's really well rounded. He's got that slam KO over that I think Japanese dude. Nasty slam KO. He also beat I think it's Vince Morales. I almost called him Michael Morales. Vince Morales is a pretty good dude in the division who Robert Jr. barely beat. You know? Elijah Smith beat him. Competitive fight, but got it done. Now he's fighting Xiang Yang Yu, who is a grappler. He's like a good wrestler. Um, he fought Zhao Long. I think that was his last fight. Now, real ones know he got a robbery win over Zhao Long, but he did look good. He had decent strike in that fight. But I'm a lean Elijah Smith decision. I think there's might be some fun scrambles, but Elijah Smith is good at getting the better positions. I think Elijah Smith would TKO, like ground and pound TKO Zhao Long. I think he would take him down and get like a late round 2 TKO maybe, or maybe he would just win a dominant decision with the grappling. Like Xiang Yang Yu, he's good, but I think Elijah Smith is a little too much. I think he's just better than him. And yeah, I think he won. I think this is gonna be Elijah Smith competitive, the clear 29-28 decision. Hope there's a finish. Elijah Smith is a pretty good prospect. I'm pretty high on him. So yeah, moving on to BMS Squita versus Monse Rendon. BMS Squita, great grappler. She got a sub over that one lady, Alexiva, I think her name is. And Monse Rendon, well now, she beat the who everybody thought was Alex Pereira's sister, Alice Pereira. So, commentary there like, people are thinking this is Alex Pereira's sister. She's 19 years old. Monse Rendon just kind of crafty vetted her. She showed her level. She showed her what it means to be a UFC fighter. And I think Mia Squeezer is gonna win this. I can see her winning so boring blob decision by wrestling Hendon. She might get the sub in round 2 or something. Hendon could win though. I wouldn't be shocked at a mostly Hendon decision, just being defending the takedowns and being better on the feet. But I rate Bia Mosquito over Alice Pereira as a prospect. She has great grappling, and I think it'll just be a decision. I think I'm gonna take Bia Mosquito Grapple Fest 30-27. Oh, moving on to Luan Lacerda versus HR Sosa. Lacerda, good grappler. He got a good submission on the Brazil Charles Oliveira Gamma card. I forgot over who. I think the dude was like Simon Oliveira. I think he got a round one submission, and it was good. He's a jiu-jitsu guy, you know. HR Sosa's a really well-rounded fighter. He's pretty good with striking. Showed on the contender series, fought a pretty good prospect. And he just grappled him, just out-grappled him. Got close to, I think, getting a rear naked choke a couple times, but couldn't get it, got signed. Mainly, I think if it wasn't for the story, Dana wouldn't have signed him because he got like a pretty uneventful decision. But I think he's just gonna. I think he can get a finish here. Luan Lacerda can't be finished. I think this is gonna be an HR so he might try to go out to just get a KO and bomb Lacerda, but I think he could out grapple him to a round one KO or round one submission. Sosa showed great grappling in his Dana White Contender Series fight. His father passed, I think, the week of. So that's why I really think he got signed. He's really good, though. And yeah, I think he just gets a round one finish. Lacerda can't be finished. He's pretty easy to finish and all that. So it's going to be an Archer Sosa round one finish. Moving on to Bellagio-Key versus Manuel Sosa. I had to make sure that was in a D. Bellagio-Key is I made a tweet about this. He's a very special case of someone who is very talented, incredibly skilled, great physical attributes, great power, but doesn't have either the gas tank or the fight IQ, to win these fights. Chris Duncan piecing him up, shoots dumb takedowns against Khan and Gilly. Mason Jones is a really good fighter. They had a fun scrap, but he just made dumb decisions. I think he shot for takedown, but I think he got dropped. He just goes into these flurries. He went to the brawl in that fight, made some dumb decisions. He did school. I thought he scored Michael Oswald for 3, and yeah. But Manuel Souza is a big power puncher from Brazil. Knocked out Mauricio Rufy on the regional scene. That was very impressive. He got a comeback KO, I think, on the Contender Series as well, round 3. So he is good. I'm gonna lean Bellagio-Key decision, round 2 KO. I think if there's a finish late, it's gonna be Manuel Souza getting like a comeback KO after Bellagio-Key makes like some dumb decision. But I think Bellagio-Key, he has 4 fights in the UFC. He's 2-2. I might add a tweet. I might add my tweet around here that I made. Nope. Nope. Yeah, there we go. I might add my tweet right here. Showing what I said about Bellagio-Key. But yeah, I think if he fights smart enough, it looks like he's been training with some good people. Extreme Couture. If they put some of their boringness on him, I think he could just slow down Manuel Souza, take him to like a schooling decision, kind of like the Kawamba one, the Timmy Kawamba fight, which was his debut, which was like a very uneventful decision. Or he can get the finish. I wouldn't be shocked, but yeah, I'm gonna go Bellagio-Key, round 2 KO. Manuel Souza is really good though. He could get a comeback finish. Bellagio-Key does have a questionable gas tank and very questionable fight IQ. But the pick is Bellagio-Key. Oh, moving on to the next fight. Chris Curtis versus Mektabek Orobai. Wow, Mektabek Orobai fighting another former middleweight. Wow. I see a lot of people picking Orobai, but I'm gonna go with the underdog here, another underdog here of Chris Curtis. I think Chris Curtis has really good takedown defense, and I think he's just gonna piece up Mektabek Orobai. I am worried for this pick. I think this is a pick that I'm like, oh man, this is like a great underdog. I have to pick him. And Mektabek Orobai can probably just bomb him in round 1 or something. Or just subs him immediately. Because the Max Griffin fight was a little too close. Like Chris Curtis, you shouldn't have been making it that close with 2025 Max Griffin, but I think Chris Curtis is getting like a close competitive 29-28 here. Orobow's getting pieced up by Rebecca, and I think Chris Curtis is a better striker than Rebecca. He's better defensively. He has really good takedown defense. Brendan Allen was barely out grappling him. He's I'd say a better grappler than Mektabek Orobai. Maybe there's lighter man skill, but I don't know. I think Chris Curtis has got this. Orobai's good, but he was kind of losing to Jack Hermanson in that round 1. Found that weird shot that put him out. I think I'd called it. I think my prediction was around 1 KO for Orobai anyway. And I know we all love Orobai. I like Orobai. I'm a fan, but this fight, Chris Curtis can just win by just being better, being the crisper striker, and So the pick is Chris Curtis decision, picking a lot of decisions for this card. It is an Apex card after all. Next, I think there's a nope. Next fight is Brad Tavares versus Eric Andrews. Couple unks that are hanging on to their careers. Brad Tavares just got KO'd by that Brecci, I think his name is. He Polish guy, round 3, and Eric Andrews just got slimed out by CLD. I'm slightly in Brad Tavares. I think he's just a little better than Eric Andrews. I am kind of 50-50 in this fight. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if Eric Andrews wins a decision. Or maybe he does. Or maybe he wins a KO on Brad Tavares. He did KO Chris Weidman. But I'm just gonna lean Brad Tavares. I think he can get a little boring 29-28 decision. He beat the great GM3 on the feet, and yeah, I think he'll be able to do enough. He is decent. He's a decent guy. He had moments against Brzeski even before he got KO'd, and he just makes dumb, extreme couture type fight decisions. So yeah, the pick is Brad Tavares' decision. Moving on to the final fight of the prelims, Vitor Petrino versus Steven Asplund. I genuinely haven't made a prediction for this fight yet. I have been 50-50 on it. Vitor Petrino, former light heavyweight, moved up to heavyweight, beat Austin Lane round 1 submission, clean performance. Had that fight with Thomas Peterson on the Brazil card, brutal knockout. Just made him belly flop made him look like Peter Griffin out there with that uppercut. That was a nasty KO. Bounces around like Alex Pereira, just not as big or as long, I would say. He's a pretty big dude, as you can see in this picture here. He's a pretty buff dude, and he's fighting the total opposite build-wise. Steven Asplund, great volume striker. He fought Sheriff, I think his name is, and just pieced him up. Volume TK, just put that crazy volume on him, and found the TKO. It was just too much for Sheriff. I am very worried for Asplund here. He has pretty questionable takedown defense, and he was getting tagged up by Sheriff. I think his name was. So I think this is gonna be a round 1, maybe round 2 finish for Vitor Petrino. Vitor Petrino does have a broken hand, or he had a broken hand in training. That's cost him. He did make it seem like it was a minor thing though, but still worrying for this prediction. I think Vitor Petrino should be able to get the round 1, round 2 KO or submission. I think I'm gonna lean round 1 submission, but he took Thomas Peterson a little bit longer. I think Thomas Peterson was a training partner of Asplund or something like that. So yeah, but I'm a big fan of Asplund. I could see him getting a round 3 TKO, just putting too much volume on Vitor Petrino. Petrino just gasses out. People forget Petrino did tap out to Anthony Smith Gidley. I don't think that's gonna happen in this fight, but I'm just saying he has a bad loss before. He has been TKO'd by Jacoby Smith, who's obviously a clear better striker, but I think Asplund can get a good TKO here. And I think he'll... Wait, what? I think he can get a TKO here, but I'm going to lean Petrino getting his submission. I think the grappling's just going to be too much. Even with a broken hand, I think he'll probably just be able to take down Asplund. Moving on to the main card, Charles Johnson versus Bruno Silva. I have to do something real quick. I need to fix something. Okay. Charles Johnson versus Bruno Silva. Charles Johnson taking, I think this was a pretty short notice, not so short notice fight for Charles Johnson. This was supposed to be Loner Kavanagh. Man, Loner Kavanagh would have fucked up Bruno Silva badly. Charles Johnson just got knocked out by the GOAT, Alex Perez. Real ones know Alex Perez his losses recently have been flukes. He's actually crazy elite. Got knocked out, rocked over all over the place. You could say it was a stoppage. Got dropped badly, like 3 or 2 times. Was on skates when he was going to press Alex Perez after the stoppage. Yeah, Bruno Silva coming off. I think he's on a. No, I don't think he's on a 2-fight win streak. He's on a 1-win. Um, Young Sung Park, I think his name is the dude that Tyra was able to submit in like 2 rounds. I think Bruno Silva has great grappling. He showed that in this fight. He might be on steroids. He did have the volcano back, but he has power. I think he has several shots exactly like Perez. He has a better takedown defense. I think he has a better takedown threat than Perez. Perez doesn't really shoot as much. And I think Bruno Silva is gonna. It's another underdog pick, but I think he's gonna get a round 2 submission. I think he's gonna rock and hurt Charles Johnson in round 1, and he's gonna get the finish around 2. I don't know. When this fight got booked, I was like, Charles Johnson is taking too quick of a turnaround after getting knocked out by Alex Perez, who does have heavy hands, to fight another very heavy-handed Bruno Silva. Charles Johnson is very good. I wouldn't be surprised if he wins like a decision here, but I have to lean Bruno Silva getting the finish around 2. Maybe he gets the knockout like Alex Perez did. It's the referee has to step in, but I think he's gonna hurt, drop Johnson, try to latch up the back and get a submission like how you try to do with Park. Um, couldn't get the submission there. I think he did. He actually got a round 3 submission. That's right. So yeah, I think he'll get a round 2 submission here. Rocks Charles Johnson, flashes to the back, gets the sub. Kind of like what Tyra did to Park actually. Dropped him and got the sub. Moving on to Rahiki versus Harry Hardwick. We all know Harry Hardwick can do that quits leg kicks. He looks like a fucking pug. I don't know much about Harry Hardwick. The most I know is he's a tough dude. Lost to Cali Fernandez, very good prospect in lightweight. But Rahiki had a fucking banger fight on the Contender Series. Shades of Izzy, but as a featherweight, very long. He is chinny, but he showed heart. It was very Kelvin Gastelum-esque fight for him, like the Izzy Kelvin fight. I think he even mentioned it in his interview before the fight. He's like, I just want to fight someone like that. That's not his accent. I don't know why I did that accent. um, but he's very good. He has grit. Even hurt, he still survives. He wants to keep fighting. He's not just gonna quit. And I think he's gonna get like a round 2 finish here. Hardwick is tough. He is moving back down to featherweight, which is his division. And maybe Rahiki gets a decision here, but I think Q maybe cut up Hardwick, tear up the legs. He's gonna try to do what Cali Fernandez did. And I think he'll get a round 2 finish. I don't think it'll be as much of a war as his Contender Series fight, but I think he's gonna get a very good performance here. Tricky debut. Hardwick could make it crafty, but I just don't rate Hardwick after that performance. I do rate his toughness, but I'm gonna lean the Rahiki finish here. Moving on to Jose Miguel Delgado versus Andre Fili. Pretty simple fight. Delgado's just gonna slime out Fili in a round. I don't see it being much different. Delgado's crazy power. Knocked down Nathaniel Wood, in his first round. I thought he got robbed by Nathaniel Wood. I thought he won rounds 1 and 2. And Andre Fili's decent. He beat Christian Rodriguez, C-Rod. Who does that, C-Rod? But I think Jose Delgado is just gonna chin him in the rounds. Delgado does hit hard. He's very explosive. He is very good. He showed that in his loss to Nathaniel Wood. He's high level. So I think he'll get around with finish here. Philly, I think, is just past him, man. He's older. He got knocked out by Eugene around. I think Jose Delgado can just find that knee up the middle, maybe. He'll probably just be like a big cross that knocks down Andre Philly. Moving on to, the feature fight. Oh my god, this is the feature fight, dude. Ian Cutelaba versus Umar Sai. Cutelaba, he's a bit of a crafty vet of the division. He lost to Felipe Lins. Hold on. That's the dude who's going to fight in Khan on the Netflix card. Ian Cutelaba, he barely lost to Bukauskas, which looking back, pretty bad performance. Had a weird smudging performance where they both were just up against the fence. And, Cutelaba has that sub over what's his name? Ebo Aslan. He has a submission. He hurt him, took him down, subbed him, showed he has that, but he does have his grappling. And I think this is just gonna be a very boring fight against Umar Sy. Umar Sy, very good grappler, had that weird boring fight with Manyfield where he just didn't do enough. He lost a split decision, deserved, just didn't do enough. But he got a very good submission against Ribeiro on the France card, and I think he's just gonna have a very boring decision in this fight. I think it's gonna be a very smudged against the fence, very similar to the Manyfield fight, and I think it's gonna be very similar to the Bukowskis fight for Ian Cutelaba. So the pick is Umar Sy, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Cutelaba finds a finish. Maybe he even gets a decision, but I'm just gonna lean Sy as a prospect who's on a run, or who's like back on his win, like trying to go back on a win streak. Moving on to the co-main event, Amanda Lemos versus Jillian Robertson. Amanda Lemos, the auntie of the division, big power puncher, but has a very big weakness to the grappling. She has a really good guillotine. That's how she defends most of her takedowns, and she does have decent initial takedown defense. Jillian Robertson, great takedowns, great ground and pound. She's a great finisher. I think she's actually tied with Amanda Nunes. I thought it was Amanda Lemos for a second. She's tied with Amanda Nunes for most finishes. So she has great subs as well, and she just mauls people on the ground for most of her fights. Her striking case has a lot of speed to desire, but her grappling is pretty good. I think I'm gonna lean Jillian Robertson by like submission. She takes down Amanda Lemos. Amanda Lemos probably tries to go for a gilly. She'll get taken down. Jillian Robertson will get out of it, and then I can see her just smudging her for 1 or 2 rounds, and then finding the submission. Because I think most of Lemos' losses have come by submission. So yeah, this is pretty easy to predict for me. Not gonna spend too much time on Amanda Lemos versus Jillian Robertson. Yeah, it's gonna be Robertson's submission round 1 or 2. Moving on to the main events, Josh Emmett versus Kevin Vallejos. We are sliming out Josh Emmett. We are gonna get a performance bonus, and we are gonna get a top 7 opponent next. I made another tweet about this. I might add it here. I don't see a world where Josh Emmett fucking wins. He's not good. He took 2 years after he lost to Bryce Mitchell. And then he came back, pretty much got in my opinion, he got 5-0'd by Lerone Murphy. Did nothing that whole fight, had one good punch. Got school, he had that one slam. Wow, man. Wow. He had a slam against Lerone Murphy. Uneventful fight, boring ass fight. Good performance for Lerone, I guess. And then, he comes back, fights the law. He's like, I'm making all these improvements, man. My power, man. My power is just gonna be too much. Gets subbed immediately. Doesn't even throw. I don't even think he threw a punch. Had 0 strikes in that fight. Very uneventful. Think of more or armbar. And lost that fight. And I think Kevin Vallejos has incredibly good boxing. His leg kicks are really good. He's a very good counter puncher. And he showed he has crazy reads. He made that the spinning back fist against Giga Chikadze, a very tricky opponent who I think is a worse stylistic matchup than big overhand Josh Emmett. Very big, long kicks. Was giving Vallejos issues in round 1. I think Vallejos is just going to be able to piece up, and I think he'll get a finish over Josh Emmett. He's just getting older. He's taken a lot of damage over his career. And Vallejos fights just like Ilya. Not just like Ilya, but he's very similar to Ilya, and I think he can replicate what Ilya did, but differently. Vallejos has a very good combination. He rips the body extremely well. He has a really good chin. He was getting rocked by John Silva, but I don't think he's gonna drop that fight. He had a very good craft. He had a really good Grady decision against Danny Silva, who I rate. He's a very good prospect. He's on next weekend's English card. But he also just has all the skills to beat Josh Emmett. He just has all the skills. He has all the striking to do it. Josh Emmett just has a big overhead. And I don't think he's not gonna just out grapple Vallejos. Come back to this video if Josh Emmett dead ass just fucking smudges Vallejos for 5 rounds, which I don't think he can do. And you give Vallejos 5 rounds, maybe he has questionable cardio. I don't think so. He had a very good high output fight with John Silva on the Contender Series. Pretty high output fight with Danny Silva as well. I think he's just gonna find a reason to get a round 3, round 2 KO here. Josh Emmett is tough. He has a very good chin, but he can be weak to the body. Yeah, you hurt him to the body of the body kick. That's how he ended up catching the sub. I think Vallejos, not much you think. I'm visualizing the fight more. He's gonna get he's gonna hurt Josh Emmett to the body, man, and get the TKO there. Round 2, round 3, round there. He's just really good. His boxing super crisp. He's gonna chew up the leg of Josh Emmett. He's just gonna piece him up throughout the whole fight. Maybe he gets a late rounds finish. Maybe he gets a very good decision. Maybe it's like a 49-48, 49-47 decision. But I think he's just gonna beat up this old man and hopefully retire Josh Emmett because Josh Emmett doesn't do anything in his fights anymore. Josh Emmett is kind of a decision merchant. He had that pretty good win over Bryce Mitchell, but he also has a lot of decisions. People forget. So yeah, these are my predictions. I'm gonna go with Vallejos round 3 TKO, but round 2 is also possible. So yeah, these are my predictions for UFC Fight Night. Emmett versus Vallejos. Let me know what you guys think. I give Emmett like about a 1% chance to win this fight. Fluke overhand is kind of all I see happening for him. And yeah, I think Vallejos is the future. I think one day we will see a rematch with John Silva. And yeah, it is what it is. I guess we'll find out Saturday night. See you guys.